During the last debate, all three candidates agreed to support the inclusion of an LGBT youth center on the redevelopment of plans for Pier 40. If elected, what will you do to ensure that this center is indeed developed, and how do you plan to involve LGBTQ youth in the development of this process?
I have the microphone. Okay.
I think they said you were first.
Oh, sorry. First of all, intention. Second of all, creating opportunities and venues like this to talk about it. As a city council member, I will be in a unique position because the city council member has a lot of say in what happens in terms of development in the district. I think that we need to really move development into a community-based model. We have to get outside of what's happening now. You know, the ULURP system that happens now, it oftentimes excludes community involvement, while perhaps it was intended to include community involvement. And I think we have to think of creative ways to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table to do that. The other thing is that, you know, we are going to be hearing a lot about how much money these larger development schemes can bring in. A community center doesn't bring in a lot of money, but a big circus or something else could bring in a lot of money. We want developers to be enriched. Of course, there's an entrepreneurial element to it, but we can show that developers will make money, that the Pier will be able to sustain itself by having LGBT community center. You know, folks will come there, gay, queer youth will come there, they'll go to GED programs, they'll get into training programs, they'll go out into the city and become doctors or lawyers or teachers or sculptors or whatever they're doing, and they'll be contributing to society. So we really want to think about those ways that we're going to be adding to the benefit and to the wealth of the city. And I think that we just really need to make sure, we need to be vigilant in making sure that the development doesn't happen until the community has been able to fully vet that. And not just at the community boards. It's important to have that happen at the community board, but it's also important to reach outside of that when we talk about community, to really be inclusive and make sure that everyone has a seat at the table. Because as I said, when we come together, we end up coming up with a solution that's much greater than any one of our fractionalized parts of our community could have come up with. And I really believe in that. I believe we have a way to do that.
Thank you so much, Jetta.
You're welcome.
Now let's pass it back to Maria.
Well, I disagree with your first statement that the ULURP process is not all-inclusive for the community. ULURP is the Uniform Land Procedure Act, whereas where a development project goes through an 8-month review, first by 2 advisory organizations, first the community board and the borough president's office, and then it goes to city planning, and then it goes to the city council, and that has legal ramifications. I think in that 8 months, there's a tremendous opportunity for everyone to come together and to have their positions be heard, and put forth their suggestions, sometimes community alternatives. Right now we have a community alternative for the sanitation garage on Spring Street. You may know that we've gone through 2 RFPs, requests for proposals on Pier 40, and they've both failed. The problem at Pier 40 is there's tremendous infrastructure that has to be maintained and repaired. We're losing parking there. But I firmly believe that the developers have an obligation to the community to provide for long-term and short-term community needs. Schools, educational facilities, the 24-hour proposal for a center for LGBT youth. And I firmly believe that if and when the day comes we have a Pier 40 accepted RFP, a request RFP that's accepted, that it will also include a 24-hour drop-in center. I truly believe that. And with your support and your participation at the board, at the borough president level, at city planning, and at city council, that will happen. But you have to be at these hearings with your testimony, supporting your Pier 40 24-hour drop-in center.